Alright, what's up, people? We just finished up the Pro Play Games webcam regional for April 24th. We went 4-4. We botched the last couple rounds, but we still got plenty of people who want this, and I was still happy with the list. Few mistakes I made, and I did get absolutely sacked once, but that's a whole other story. Played Android 21. Favorite deck. Using the gold leader from Spiral Maui, of course. Just gonna go straight into the list, because that's what people want from me. Of course, you got the One of Scheme. Have to play the card. Makes your tokens. Lets you draw, untap, everything. Summoning Sickness on things. It's easy to play around. It messes up the opponent a lot. Yeah. The first card, which is from Battle Evolution, the Unison. One of the only cards I'm missing full about in this deck right now. You need to see this early in some matchups. You definitely need to see it by like turn 3 in every matchup. It stops their clone tokens from swinging at you. It pluses your leader, and it makes your counterplays live, which is something you need to do in this deck. The starter cards, we got Speedy Substitution, 4 of. Cycles through your deck, cycles your energy around. Adding cards is always good. The 2 Scholarly Gambits. These are for your big turns, usually. If you go to play your win con or something, you want to put this out first. It plays this out for free, and then eats up the Summoning Sickness for the turn. It also is your out to the Supreme Kai Secret Rare, and other big cards. If you have 5 energy, you get to sack this card to bottom deck anything they play that's bigger than their energy. So it's really good in mid-game. And then Energy Amplification, Android 16, the card that makes the deck function properly. Ramps your card. You can't play 30Ks for the rest of the game, but that doesn't matter in this list. We don't play Restoration. Restoration is a bad card. I stand by that. It uses 200 cards. This deck does not draw enough, even playing cards to make it draw more. But just tapping 2 for 16 is always fine. There's never anything wrong with doing that. Next up, you got your main energy card, Super 17. He doesn't have energy exhaust in a 21 leader, which is amazing. He also has a tap 7 to play him and 3 other 5-drop battle card or Android battle cards from your energy. Surprisingly enough, I never did that once in any of my games. Even if I got to that turn, I've had other ways to win that didn't involve me risking all of my energy, pretty much. The main reason he's there is because he just comes in untapped, which is amazing. Next up is most of the Arrival package. We actually do play a bit of Arrival stuff in here. You got your 4 super combos. They're searchable. You can charge them. You can bounce them back later. They rip your opponent's hand apart. Always good. Which is also really good in tandem with this card. Android 16 Sev comeback. When he's comboed from your hand or when he's played, he makes your opponent pitch a card, or you can double and drop Android, but we're not playing any cards for that. He's a dual attack revenge blocker, so he's good for putting on pressure. He's good for defense. And then these 2 in combination just start ripping your opponent's hand apart. So they just don't have cards. That's how you beat like Baby and other matchups. I was able to rip Dark Broly down really easily. I just messed up early on in the turn before in the game and didn't have enough cards myself in hand. It's good against King Piccolo because it's a revenge blocker. You're making them lose cards as long as you can stop their pianos from staying on the board. Yeah. The next Arrival package, we play 2 Steadfast Ally. He's a double striker. He searches any of your 5-drop or lower Android 21s, and then plays 1. So he actually can search your Scholarly Gambits, but that's only if you only ever want to search Gambit if you already have the card you need in hand. We play a package of 3 Bad Omens for this, which Bad Omens is also one of your win cons, which you can play on Super 17, or you just play them from your energy and burn them. Swinging with like your leader when they're on 2 life, rivaling this into a Bad Omen to crit one of their life makes any single strike lethal, or just swinging with him and then rivaling another copy of him makes a double strike lethal, and he's also ripping their hand apart. I've got a 16 hand destruction I'm kind of working on that might... Maybe we'll try that out next weekend. Who knows? And then the other 2 we're playing, Destructive Villain. Board wipes, anything 4 or less. It's good in a good chunk of matchups. Not so good in others. I will charge this card if I need to. It's also just a 20k attacker. It's not a bad card. I always will play one of this card in this deck if I'm playing the Arrival. And then 1 Beautiful Scientist. Playing a 16 into a Beautiful Scientist to rampant energy, pop a card, and put a blocker on board always feels fantastic. I have never had a time where this feels like a bad play. The entire reason I'm even still playing this card is because of like these kind of plays. Because this is such a defensive play. Like, I'm usually comboing 10k to get to be able to Arrival. So I'm comboing out of an attack, I'm Arrivaling a big battle card, popping a card, ramping more energy, and putting a blocker on board. It always feels good. Gonna do one of the tech cards. Piccolo Assimilated Ability. I never thought I'd be playing this card again. But every single time this card has hit the board, I've loved it. Every single time. The Bond 2 isn't hard to keep. You have a lot of small cards that stay on board, and if you put a Gambit on board, that's 2 cards that are basically never leaving the board. He's just popping you cards and drawing you cards every turn. Opponents can... I've actually had people try and go in with a 4-drop or a 5-drop or lower, and just... Cool. Pop it, draw a card, battle ends. This also makes it so Mecha can't beat this deck. The only card in Mecha that gets around this card is Bojack, and then the Secret Rares that they play. That's it. Nothing else in Mecha gets around this card. It's amazing. Alright, we're going to get into the counters now. Oh, I got these a little bit out of order. We play 3/18 Let the Battle Begin. The first couple times I played this deck, I hated this card. I also played 16 before I played this build. In 16, this card feels awful. In 21, this card feels fantastic because I'm putting out my Unison on turn 1. I'm preventing 4-drops from being played, and then getting a blocker out of it. I wish she reduced cost on my turn. She would be 10 times better, but she has a 4 cost on my turn, so sadly that kind of sucks. That means she's not good in like the baby matchup and stuff. The other like issue with this card is actually with Scheme, because Scheme doesn't say like the turn player. So if they try to play a card and I counterplay it, she eats the Summoning Sickness. So they'll get to swing with the next card they play no matter what. It's really awkward sometimes, but it's usually worth it. I actually had a... And since her counterplay is just play this card, then if it's a 4 or less, you can just play this in response to a 5-drop or higher just to get the blocker on board. A game against Aggro Sin today, he played Celzino, and I just tapped 1 and played her. She didn't do anything but become a blocker on board, and didn't die to Celzino then. And then when he tried to play Pan, I just played another copy of her. Then we have, of course, the blue counterplay you have to play. God Sealing. We only play 3. It gets clunky at more. Granted, there is times you don't see it when you want to, and that kind of sucks. But we could play the Mai, but this deck's already really tight on space. I think this is 53 or 54 cards with Scheme. God Sealing hits a lot of good cards, but it's also not good in some matchups like KP and stuff. I like the card. I would never play less than 3. You kind of have to. Then the last card. This is all with the Unison package as well. You have to have your Unison live for these cards to be useful. And speaking of the last card for that is Heroic Prospect. It's a 1-drop negate with the Unison. It stops anything higher cost. It makes them bottom deck cards. It's really good against Red Broly, Dark Broly, It's good against Mecha. It's good against a lot of things. It's always a good card. It's good against Aggro Sin. It's just an amazing card. I would never play more than 3, though. I already see it too much. Except in the matchups that it matters, of course, I don't see it. The other win con is 17 and 18. Sibling Survived. This card, the text on this card is insanely broken. Deflect, dual attack, double strike. When it's played, it nukes the opponent's any cards you want on their board, so you can leave certain cards. Then he untasks at the end of the turn, and then when it swings, it rips two cards from the hands each time it swings, and it does not have to swing at a leader to rip cards. This is actually the only way you legitimately beat Baby, which is why I had to play 2 because I was scared of running into Baby. You have to keep a Scholarly Gambit in hand if you plan on winning with this card, though, because then you're going to have to play Gambit, then play this card so it doesn't get the Summoning Sickness. Of course, Seeker, Baby Hatchick. We're playing blue. It's the best blue Seeker. It's the best Seeker for blue. It ends turns. My one real mistake today was I only had this and one other card in hand against Dark Broly, and he played the Broly to make me warp a card, so I lost because I didn't have a second card to pitch for Baby Hatch. But Baby Hatch is amazing. It's a turn ender. It wins games. Always a good card. Lastly, last few negates. Dimension Magic, of course. You play a lot of 10Ks. You need the untap easily. And then 2 Chill's Army. The synergy with this deck is amazing because a lot of people think you want to play your Unison like immediately. There's a lot of matchups you don't actually. You want decks to push you to 4, but I'll let decks push me to 3 or push me to 5. Sorry, push me to 5, then play my Unison, and then because they'll start focusing down the Unison, and I'll just Chill's Army, take a life. I'm knocked down to 4 now. I have a blocker. I protected my Unison twice, and I live through it pretty much. Card's really good. I love the card. I would honestly like to play 3 copies, but I just can't fit it in, and there is times it does get clunky because it does cost 2 energy when you're not playing it for free. But that's it for the deck. It was very fun to play. I absolutely love this deck still. We didn't do the best with it. We did okay at first, but we kind of fell off at the end. But deck was still fun. I would definitely play it in original again. Maybe make a few changes here and there. It really is it's a meta call what you change in this deck. But that's it. Thanks for watching, I guess, and yep. Like, comment, subscribe, any questions. I always answer questions. I'm always willing to work on this deck with people. Yeah. And that's about it. Thank you.